All right, welcome everybody to our live webinar today, your tax season technology checklist. We're very excited to present on this topic that, of course, as we get very close to the beginning of tax season, whenever that is, because we don't have a date just yet, as we get closer to tax season, we want to ensure that you as a professional tax preparer have all the tools that you need to have a successful tax season, because we're anticipating a very busy one. Now, the panelists for today are just the two of us, Anthony, Samsung, and myself. Anthony, of course, an enroll agent and solution architect for Wolters Kluwer Tax and Accounting, and myself, a senior marketing manager for Wolters Kluwer as well. I've been in the tax industry for a little over 15 years in different roles, such as training, sales, also a solution architect back in the day, Anthony, and now in the marketing division for Wolters Kluwer. Anthony, I'd like for you to introduce yourself, because as our star presenter, you have a lot of experience in tax and accounting from both sides, whereas I only have experience from the technology side, the software side. You have experience from both. So being an employee with Wolters Kluwer Tax and Accounting, understanding the technology and what it takes to bring the technology to the tax professional, but also as a practicing enroll agent for over 10 years.
Absolutely, Luis, and sorry I was on mute. Absolutely, I was actually hired to replace Luis, so some big shoes that I was hired to step into back in 2016. But yeah, I'm a practicing EA. I've also been in practice for about 10 years now. Got my degree in accounting, and just enjoy working at Wolters Kluwer as a solution architect, speaking to tax offices around the country, just helping them make the right decision for what product to implement in their tax office. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today on our session today. And here's our objectives that I want to make sure that we cover on today's session. We're going to talk about the on-premise or virtual tax prep. And if you're not familiar with what on-premise is, that's really where if you have the software installed physically on your computer and you're saving everything to the computer and you've got to back up your computer, versus having a virtual tax prep where the software is not installed on your computer and using a web browser or a browser-based solution to be able to service the clients. We're also going to talk about electronic signatures, right? How many of you have clients that definitely they like electronic signature and some clients that don't like electronic signature? We're going to kind of debunk some of the myths about that and talk about the advantages and benefits of using electronic signature, especially when you're utilizing a virtual tax office. Also, secure document storage. I mean, as a tax and accounting professional, you pretty much, we have to comply to the same standards as banks do. We're considered a financial institution. So the document storage of items is important, having things to be encrypted and protected. So we're gonna make sure we uncover that today. And then one thing that came out, it's pretty big, especially this is what 2021, about to be 2022. Oh my goodness, is mobile taxpayer interview tool, right? Having a tool that allows your clients, or prospective clients, to be able to send you their documents from their smartphones. We're going to talk about that today on our presentation and what that looks like to use a mobile friendly tool, and then streamlining the client communication with automated text messages. You know, the constant theme. I mean, you're doing a client's tax return in February. And what about their birthday in November? Do you reach out to them? Do you follow up with them? How do you stay in contact with those clients, right? So streamlining automated text communication. And then we're also going to talk about the reliable online tax research, and then also refund transfer products. Luis is going to spend some time telling you about the refund transfer products that we have here at Wolters Kluwer. So let's go ahead and get into the actual meat of the presentation and dive deep. And the question I want to ask you is, do you feel like in your tax practice that you're using the right tools? Do you feel like that, right? Do you feel like you have the flexibility you need in your tax practice to be productive, to hire new staff, new team members, seasonal people? Do you have the demand from new clients? I mean, there's definitely a shortage of tax and accounting professionals with so many other baby boomer generation retiring and things of that nature. So talking about the demands for new clients and also keeping servicing the same clients, right? Clients have an expectation on you as their tax preparer. So we're going to talk about the servicing your current clients, and are you servicing the mobile first generation, right? I was at Starbucks this morning. The young lady said, yeah, she was born in 2003. She said, I'm just about 18. Well, how are you going to service that generation, those 18, 19, 20-year-olds that everything is on their phone. Their W-2 is on their phone. If they're not on the phone, they're going to take a picture of the documents. So what are you doing to attract and to service those clients? And then let's think about the cost and efficiency gains, right? If I stay where I'm at, if I stay with my current solution, right, my desktop current solution, is it going to cost me a hidden cost, also known as opportunity cost? Am I going to miss out on that opportunity cost? And then if I do make the move into a virtual tax office, what's the efficiency gains I'm going to have? Now, also, what are you doing in your tax office to avoid cyber crimes, right? What are the things that you're doing to help you in your tax practice? Let's say you get a virus on your computer and you lose your client's data. I remember one time I hired a graphic designer to do some work for me, and I text him asking him, hey, just following up, I haven't heard from you. He said, I'm sorry, a virus got on my computer and I'm shut down for a couple of weeks. So I don't want that to be your story, your scenario that you tell your clients during tax season, right? So we want to see, how can we make this a win-win scenario? If you think, hey, you know what, I've got all the right technology tools that I need, I don't need to make a switch, absolutely, then definitely go ahead and stay put where you are. But if you think, hey, there's an opportunity to grow, there's an opportunity to do better. So I just want you, I think this is a great time of the year in December for you to, before tax season starts, to make sure that you've got the right tools to help you in your business. So we're gonna start off first talking about what's the difference between being virtual in an online environment and a desktop in an on-practice environment. So if you look at my slide over here, I'm gonna demo some of these products to you and show you what this looks like. You'll see that in an online environment, a virtual environment, you have accessibility anytime, anywhere. All right, so wherever you are, if you're traveling, things of that nature, you can access those returns anytime, anywhere. There's cloud-based security, so you're not responsible for paying for all the security that needs to protect the client's data. Your software provider will actually provide that to you and pay those costs to protect the taxpayer data. Also, with these online virtual products, there's no software installation, right? So it works in your web browser. So that's one of the convenient features about that. And then the online document storage is there as well. Your software provider is storing those documents there for you. Now, how is this valuable? What is this going to do? It's going to reduce office costs. I never forget last year, with my kids going to school from home, doing virtual learning, digital learning, I had to go buy them laptops. So I bought them Chromebooks, $200 Chromebooks. And I thought about it, hey, wait a second, with utilizing online tax software, virtual tax software, on a $200 Chromebook, my kids could run a tax practice if they wanted to, right? People could run a tax practice. So there's a lot of reduced costs in actually being able to run a tax office. So if you're going to hire somebody or something like that, there's reduced costs in that. Now let's take a moment and look at the desktop, the on-premise, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you definitely have desktop right now, there's some things you have. You can access it anytime in your office, right? You just go to your office, or if you work from home, you have accessibility there. You have all your data is there for you, right? You connect to an office network. So if it's just you and it's on your laptop, on your computer, that's okay. But if you've got other employees, other team members that work for you, you've got to kind of set up a network so they can log in and you can see those returns, right? And there's a local installation that's also needed and required for the desktop on premise. So you do the local installation on every laptop, and then you want to make sure that you're working in the latest and updated tax software, because with desktop products, the software provider releases a lot of updates, and you've got to make sure you've got those updates placed on your computer. So you're working on those and your network maintenance and things of that nature. So those are some things that you want to, those are things that you want to consider. So these are the two differences between a desktop and an online environment. So what I want to do, I want to walk you through, we're going to use TaxWise as our presentation. TaxWise is a tax compliance software that Wolters Kluwer owns, and I'm going to walk you through and show you how to access and how to log in the TaxWise desktop version and the online. If there's any TaxWise customers in here, put TaxWise in the chat. I'm just curious, if you're a TaxWise customer, Luis will take a look at that, and I'm curious to find out if you're a TaxWise customer. So I'm going to come out here and I'm going to share my screen with you. As I share my screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the TaxWise software up on the screen here. So you should be able to see my screen here, and I'm pulling up TaxWise. So this is the desktop version of TaxWise. So this is the one that would have to be installed on your computer. And what's important about this is you would actually have to follow up with the user guide. There's actually a user guide over here, and the user guide has the actual requirements that you need to have, whether it's a Windows 10 computer, the latest updates, things of that nature. Those are things that you got to make sure that you have and can comply with in order to be able to run TaxWise. So I had to install this on my computer. It's exactly what I had to do. And I'm going to log in. I'm going to go ahead and put my password in. Let's hope I remember my password. Wonderful. So I've logged into the desktop software. It's asking me which returns I want to open. I'm going to go over to this 1040 returns, and let's pull that up. So this is exactly what it looks like. This is the return manager in TaxWise. You can see that, okay? So our return manager, and then before I go back to the return manager, this is the dashboard. So I've got some shortcuts to some things, anything that's changing, any updates that are happening over here. I've got a shortcut to start a new return, shortcut to open an existing return. So all these returns you're seeing over here, these are my sample returns, John, Sherry, and Tina. These are all my sample clients when I'm presenting to customers TaxWise. These are my customer base. Now, all this data is actually on my computer. So if you notice, it says the file name. You can see the file name right here. It's encrypted, but there's the file name. These are the file names of the returns, right? So if I wanted to make sure that, let's say somebody else was working in my office, we'd have to connect with the server, and we'd have to connect in a network environment, I should say, for them able to see these files. So if I double click on Mr. TaxWise, that's a customer right here, and Mr. TaxWise, this Mr. TaxWise return that's opening up, it's loading on my computer. This is exactly what it looks like. This is what we call the main information sheet. So this works on our actual computer. And I'm going to show you what it's like to log in on TaxWise online. I'll show you what the online product actually looks like here. Let's kind of pull that up here for just 1 second. So I'm going to log in. Well, I'm actually logged in right now. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Let's go ahead and sign out here for just a second. My settings section. I apologize. I should have had that signed out already. I'm inside the settings section. And let's go ahead and log out. So as I'm logging out, you're going to see right here, there's a web browser. It works off your web browser. So right here, the desktop, this is the 2020 version of the desktop. This is the 2020 version of TaxWise Online. Notice it's just a URL. So I would put my information in right there, and then I'll log in. I can save that. We do have multi-factor authentication. I've got mine saved. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and log into TaxWise Online. So you see it works in your web browser. So I don't have to have a Windows computer. I don't have to have any of those items installed on my actual machine. What's important too about this is you'll see I'm in the 2020 version, right? If I want to open my 2021 version, which we released our 2021 version of TaxWise Online last week, that came out, so our customers can gain access to that. I just changed my URL to TaxWise Online -2021, and here it is. I'm in the 2021 version of TaxWise Online. Same thing, if I wanted to go back to 19, I could just copy and paste. I don't have to go and open up a previous year tax software. Everything works in the web browser. So here's my 2019 TaxWise, my 2021 TaxWise. So it just makes the process very streamlined. You can streamline that process over there. So just curious, anyone in the chat, did anyone in the chat say that they're using TaxWise, TaxWise right now? Do we have anyone? Yeah, for those, I saw we had some new people joining. If you're using TaxWise, definitely put TaxWise in the chat. So looking over here, this is the actual TaxWise. If I click over here on tax returns, what I'm going to start to see is the return manager. And looking at that return manager, I can see Mr. Schedule A listed over here in the return manager. When I click on Mr. Schedule A, tax return, he's one of my clients. He's one of my biggest clients, Mr. Schedule A. And Mrs. Schedule C too, she's also one of my big clients. So looking at this right over here, you'll see this is the main information sheet. So this works in your web browser. Like I said, so if I was using Chromebook, an iPad, even a smartphone, on a smartphone, you can log in to TaxWise Online. And this is the way how your clients, this is how you prepare the return for your clients. So there's no DIY. The clients are not preparing their own tax return. You, as a tax professional, as a professional tax preparer, you're preparing the tax return for your clients utilizing the TaxWise software. All right, so I just want to make sure I just kind of compare those differences for you in your tax practice. Now, something else that you want to make sure that you look into when you're running your tax office is electronic signature. Just curious, how many of you are using like e-signature in your tax office? Or maybe you have clients maybe signing on a Topaz pad, they sign on a pad when they come in your office and sign a tax return. That's something that's also can be done utilizing TaxWise product. E-signature is becoming big, and you think about it. I remember, when I realized e-signature was becoming big was when my wife and I, we bought our house a few years ago, and the lady's like, okay, I'm going to send you the contract. We thought we had to go to the office and sign the contract, the offer, and put the offer in the home. She said, no, you're just I'm going to send you an email, and you log in and sign the contract. So we put an offer in our home from our smartphone. And that's becoming the expectancy from tax professionals, from clients, I should say, excuse me. If you can, pretty much, sign up for your insurance and do those things on a smartphone, put an offer in a house, they're going to be expecting you to be able to sign those tax returns from their smartphone, right? So there's a lot of benefits in using electronic signature. It increases the efficiency of the tax preparation process, allowing for more tax returns. Because you have to think about it. If you're going virtual, right, you have a virtual tax office, or you have a tax office in general, and the client electronically signs it, right? Let's say that my barista, the person that made my drink this morning, who's 19 years old and she works at Starbucks, she doesn't want to have to leave Starbucks to come all the way to your tax office, right? She wants to be able to sign that tax return. You call her up and say, hey, your refund is going to be $1,500. I'll send you an email and you can sign it. She's going to say, absolutely, great. So it increased efficiency, less paper. You don't have to print so much paper. So it's definitely cutting your operating costs. That's the one thing I hear from a lot of our customers. The feedback they give is having to be able to cut their costs of printing paper and ink. And sometimes printers, sometimes it's just difficult to work with printers. They don't print every time, right? It's just stressful. So utilizing, there's a lot of benefits with the electronic signature. It reduces the fact of mailing, faxing, and those items like that, right? And it also improves the customer experience. Can you think about it? You're a tax professional, right? You're really good at when it comes to taxes, but also you want to take into consideration these clients, they're expecting you to use technology. What if you've got a client that works for a technology company, right? They're going to be expecting you to be using technology, not to be doing things manually. All right, so improving customer experience is important in the tax industry. So let's talk about this. There's a couple ways you can go about electronic signature. You can do in-person signature, right? And this is pretty big. If you have clients that are elderly, clients that are of a certain age, they're going to come in your tax office and they're expecting you are the tax professional, tax expert. And come in your office, they want to do everything tax related. They want to talk to you. They want to talk about their income, the deductions. When they're finished, they want to sign the return in your office. They're not going to go on email. They're not going to do any of that. They want to sign it and leave with a copy of it, right? So, but you still don't have to actually, you can still use eSignature. You can have in-person signature. So clients can sign at the office. They can sign it on your device. If you're using a tablet or a device that has, touch screen, you can have the client sign right there on the screen. There's no KBA authentication. For those of you, if you're not familiar with what the word KBA stands for, that means knowledge-based authentication, where the client has to answer a few questions. What's your date of birth? Did you live on this street in 1995 or something like that, right? Only you would know. Okay. So yeah, definitely there's no KBA authentication. The IRS requires that the identity of a new client be verified by checking an accepted form of identification. So you would check the driver's license, state ID, passport, anything to validate the client's identity. Now, how many of you in your tax office, you've got clients that you never met before, right? I wish we were in person. I'm sure I've got some people I've done their taxes before and I could walk right by them on the street, don't even know that was my client. So remote signatures, especially if you're doing taxes for clients in different states. Let's say that you're in Atlanta and you're doing somebody's taxes in Alabama or in Texas or something like that. So client cannot sign at the office, or maybe the client lives in the same metro area as you, but they just can't come to the office and sign. Absolutely, client cannot sign at the office. You're going to use remote signature. So the client will validate their identity. And this is for protection purposes, right? So the identity is going to be validated for protection purposes. Did you live on 123 Main Street in 1995, right? Yes, I did live with my mom in 1995. Those only you can answer that question. So those types of questions the clients will be asked to validate their identity. And the IRS requires that remote signers pass a series of questions to authenticate their identity within 3 attempts. So this is required by the IRS, okay? So let's kind of walk through this. I want to show you what it looks like. I actually have a e-signature up. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to one of our returns. And I'm going to pull up one of our returns. We're going to go ahead and sign. I got a return right over here, Mr. Tony Smith. And with Mr. Tony Smith, we're going to go ahead and when I come to this section over here that says e-signature, you'll see it says e-signature. When I click on that e-signature option over there, what's happening, let me kind of pull this over there. What's happening is on this e-signature option, it's going to pull up those same items that we just discussed, whether we're going to do in-person signing, right, or we're going to do remote signature or sign on preparer's device, right? So that's what we talked about. If you're having the iPad or you got the Topaz pad, so we're going to do in-person. And you can put an email address over here. An email address can be placed there. You as the preparer can sign it, right? The ERO or electronic return originator can sign it as well. And then you'll click submit. When you click submit, you'll see it's going to populate. It's going to send it over to the I was going to say the Gmail, to the email account, whatever email account the client has. So you're going to get this email. The client's going to get this email, say a document from Wolters Kluwer is available, a document from you is available. They'll click right over here on that, and once they click on that, they'll have the opportunity to accept the agreement, right? That they know they're signing it, and then they'll go ahead and start the process of signing it. So now, if you want to be generic, we can type it or we can draw the signature. So this is what I'm saying. If we're using an iPad or something like that, it'd be fantastic. You can sign it, adopt the signature, and go ahead and place the signature. So that's the, and look at this too. This is the 8879, right? We're signing the e-file authorization. So we have that, and they're also signing a copy of the tax return. So sign the tax return and the e-file authorization. We'll go ahead and apply signatures. Now the question comes up, can I do this with the states? Now there's some states that are kind of going back and forth on that. So you want to make sure you know your state. You want to reach out to your state's Department of Finance, or we call it Georgia Department of Revenue over here, Department of Revenue and Finance, to see if they allow signing for that state return. But pretty much mostly over 30 states in the country have adopted the electronic signature for tax returns. So you can go ahead and sign this, apply that signature. And once we've done that, we want to go ahead and hit finish. And what's going to happen with our product TaxWise, you as a tax preparer, you don't have to go hunt the client down. Okay, Mr. Smith or Mrs. Lisa, did you sign this return? Absolutely not. In TaxWise, it's going to take a copy of that return, and there's a section over here we call the vault, and a copy of that return is going to be placed right here. A signed copy of that return is going to be placed right here in the vault, so we can easily grab that. So it's our online document storage that we were talking about, where you're storing those documents digitally, electronically for your clients to get access to. All right, so definitely do have that. So my computer's moving just a little bit slow over here. So you'll see here's that tax return. Here's where that return, that client signed that return. We can see that. And there's that 8879, right? Don't you love it when you got a fresh signed 8879? It means it's time to file that return. So definitely utilizing e-signature is important inside of your tax practice. All right, wonderful. And then you also got a confirmation that the return has been signed. It sends a little completion certificate as well, in addition to that. So this is a vault. This is where all these client documents are stored. Clients' W-2s, any documents that the client uploads can be stored here, and automatically a signed copy of that return is placed here in the vault. That's our document storage section of TaxWise Online, and the client can click over if they want to download a copy of their return. All right, so let's talk about another way to be able to connect with your clients. How many have clients that they have a lot of things? Well, I should ask this question. How many offer more services than just tax preparation? Right, you're doing more than just tax prep. Maybe you're selling insurance, maybe you're doing bookkeeping, maybe you're doing payroll. You're just doing a whole lot more for the client than the traditional services. Typically what happens, you're interacting a lot with your client, and you have documents that you need to send out to that client, or a client needs to send you documents. So typically, I remember when I was in practice back in 2015, I used to work with this investment advisor, and we were just emailing documents back and forth. I didn't know that me as a licensed tax professional, it's illegal to email tax documents, right? I didn't know that I wasn't complying with the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, right? That's where your tax offices are considered financial institutions, and you have to protect taxpayer data just like a bank protects your data. I can't walk up to Wells Fargo Bank and say, hey, show me how much money Luis Galvez has. No, I can't do that, right? There's security measures in place, identity verifications in place. Same way, you need to have those items in place in your tax office. So having secure portals are great in your tax practice because it benefits the client in such a tremendous way, because the client can access their documents 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Aren't you tired of getting that email at let me see, you're getting that email or that text message at 6:30 p.m. when you're at your kid's soccer game, right? Or you're on vacation, right? Vacaciones, you're on vacation with your family, right? You're on vacation in Hawaii with your family. And you get the text message, hey, I need to get my tax return. I'm applying for a mortgage, or I'm refinancing, right? Give your clients 24-hour access, right? I mean, think about this. Ask yourself this question. Would you open a bank account at a bank that has no online banking? You're gonna go work hard during taxes. You're gonna make thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes. You're gonna go put $50,000 or $5,000 in a bank that has no online banking. Absolutely not. You want to do that. You want to see your money 24/7, right? Same way your clients need to see their documents 24/7. So having a secure way to transfer documents between two individuals over the internet is important. It does have a layer of security on the product as well. Definitely you got that layer of security, and you're able to organize and store relevant tax documents. So this is an effective tool, especially if you're offering more than just tax preparation services. If you're doing more than tax prep services, bookkeeping, payroll, selling insurance, maybe you're a notary or something like that, whatever the services you're providing, you're out of your tax office, I want to encourage you to client portal. So let's kind of look at this for a second. I want to let's kind of bring this up on the screen here. So I've got a client portal over here. And when I bring up this client portal, I've got two. I've got this portal and I've got this portal. And I want some of you to guess. I wish we were in person. I want some of you to guess something, okay? So I've got these two portals. So this portal is the tax office portal, right? The tax office, where the tax office is going to log in and upload the documents. This portal is what the customer, your client, your taxpayer, what they're going to see. It's going to have their name. And now, definitely now, do their client have to call you at 2 o'clock in the morning if they forgot their password? Absolutely not. They don't have to call you. I'm going to go ahead and log in. So we do have two-factor authentication, 2 steps, so it can send a text message to their phone. We do have their text or a code to their email. That's available. Now, looking at this, you're going to see these documents. Everything is organized year by year. So you can create folders. Your clients can create folders if they want to. If your client wants to invite their spouse, or maybe they want to invite their loan officer, investment broker, they can invite them over to the portal, all right? So looking at this portal, we got all these documents organized year by year. So this is what the client's going to do. The client's going to come over here and they're going to click upload, and they're going to come and upload their tax documents. So let's say it's tax time. And they say, okay, I've got to upload all these tax documents. I got to send you my 1099. I got to send you I got to send out my W-2, all this information I got to upload. I'm going to go ahead and click open, and let's go ahead and upload all these documents, just like that. So within a matter of seconds, we upload the documents. You on your side, you're going to be able to view these documents right over here. Tab that says unread files. So I can just look at the files we just uploaded. December 9th, here's a 1098T, here's that 1099 dividend, here's a 1099 interest, here's a Social Security 1099, SA 1099. So all these documents that the client just uploaded right here, we can see these documents listed over here. And the same thing, it's organized year by year. Now, this portal connects to TaxWise, okay? So you don't have to have TaxWise to use the portal. If you say, hey, you know what, I want to definitely reach out and utilize your portal, you don't have to. But what I'm saying over here is that you have an opportunity. If you want to have a streamlined virtual office, you want to definitely use with TaxWise. So whether you're using TaxWise Desktop and you want to print the return with TaxWise Desktop, but if you really want to have a virtual office, I encourage you to use TaxWise Online. So if you're using TaxWise Online, let's pull up my TaxWise Online. I think my TaxWise Online went missing. All right, it's okay. If my TaxWise Online went missing, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over here, TW20. It's going to pull up and back to my TaxWise again. I'm going to come back to that tax return that I was in. And on that tax return I was in for Tony, on Tony's tax return, we've got the ability to, when you come over here and say to the vault, back over at the vault, that's our document storage area, I can actually select these items and say, go ahead and send to client portal. So I could send a signed copy. Let's say the client says, hey, the bank needs me to have a signed copy of my tax return. Can you give me a signed copy of that return? Absolutely. We can click on that and click send to client portal and send that client a copy of their return. Just like that. So we don't have to download any PDF, then upload the PDF. We can just go directly from TaxWise Online to the client portal. All right. So let me just kind of put this up on the screen here so you can see it, and then we'll move on. This is the client. This is the client side, and this is the tax office side. So you have the opportunity. Let me just move this over there. You have the opportunity to have both of them, the tax office on this side and the taxpayer on this side, okay? So this is what the taxpayer is seeing, this is what the client side is seeing, all right? So just wanna let you see that, the way how that client portal works to help you inside your tax office. All right, now let's think about something else too. We talked about, let's go back to my barista, all right? She made me a nice, what is this, an Earl Grey tea. She put 5 sugars in there. All right, put a lot of sugars in there, right? So she made me this barista and she said, yeah, 18, 19 years old. And think about it, she does everything on her phone. People on their phone, they order their Starbucks and they don't even wait in line. They just walk up to Starbucks. Me, Chipotle, I order my food on my phone and I just walk into Chipotle and grab my food. How about in your tax office, you've got a mobile site where your clients can go to the mobile site, send you their documents, and they just walk in to grab it. Or maybe they never walk in at all, right? Maybe they just do everything virtually. So having TaxWise Mobile allows you the same way how that multi-billion-dollar company like Starbucks can service their clients with a mobile app, you and your tax office, you can service your clients this way. So I want to take a moment and introduce you to a product that we have over here at Wolters Kluwer. It's called TaxWise Mobile. It allows you to connect with your clients. It's a mobile site. And the question comes up, well, why don't you have a mobile app? Well, I'll show you why. We have a mobile site, not a mobile app. Sometimes clients are not tech savvy, right? Clients may not know, okay, I have to have this Android or this iOS, so I have to have this. So one thing that a lot of people have, a lot of people have smartphones. We say, hey, we're going to make a site. And in this site, we're going to allow our customers, Wolters Kluwer customers, to put the name of their tax office right here. So let's say I'm calling my tax office, my name, Samson Tax. That's the name of my tax office. So I'm going to give this URL to anybody that wants to come and do business with me. And then what I could do is some of our customers, what they've done is they've actually made this. They actually made this into an actual, what do you call this? They create a QR code for this page. And when they create a QR code for this page, they would print this QR code and put it on their business card. So if they're anywhere, maybe they're at Starbucks and you're talking with somebody, yeah, I do taxes. Oh, you do taxes? Here's my card. Take a picture of this link and then you'll be able to send me your documents. You want to be able to present yourself as someone that's on the cutting edge, that knows what's going on with technology. They're up to speed with things. So utilizing a mobile site where people can come to the mobile site and send you their information is very helpful. Now, this is the mobile site that we provide to you. You have the full opportunity to edit that mobile site. So we've got a customer, one of our TaxWise customers, their name of their tax business is iTax Mobile, and they customized it with their company logo and everything. So think about it. If they make a QR code with this site and they got the QR code there, look what it says, iTax Mobile over there. It's in their company colors and everything. And what you can do, what your taxpayers, what your clients can do at this website is they can get an estimate of their taxes. So maybe you're using Facebook or Instagram to advertise your tax business. Say, hey, come to my website and come to my mobile tax office and get a free estimate of your actual taxes and what your tax refund will be, right? So people can come to here and they can click and answer a few questions. Are you a qualifying widower? Yes. Now, what about your bilingual clients, right? What about your clients that are bilingual? Clients that are bilingual in English and Spanish, we can click over their English and turn that into Spanish. And they can go through this and walk through this in Spanish, okay? So we got the opportunity for those. Right now, it's just those two languages, I believe. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, Louise can correct me. But she could be, so he's asking this question, can you be claimed as a dependent? If you don't understand that, like let's go back to my barista. If she doesn't understand this, she can click on that question mark. Say, if you could be claimed as someone's returned, your parents, someone has to, else just select yes, right? So if that's your situation. And if you still don't understand, we can just click over here and chat with a tax professional. So there's a chat feature that we have in here. You also can just link over to send an email or make a direct phone call. So those options are available. So I'm going to say no. And do you have dependents? I'm going to say no. And what kind of income do you have? So our barista would put in that employment income. That's what she would put in. And she would say, okay, hey, yep, I made $25,000 working part-time at Starbucks. Well, I'm not in the military. Nope. I'm in the military of coffee. All right. Do you have another W-2? Thank you for all those that served in our country, their countries. We appreciate your service. Do you have another W-2? We're going to say no. All right. Now, did she pay any student loans? Did she make any IRA contributions? No, she didn't do any of those items in 2021. And then here's an estimate of what her refund would be. So if she doesn't, and it's an estimate, so we give a disclaimer that this is an estimate. Now, the taxpayer still needs you, because they're gonna start having an opportunity to submit their documents, take pictures from their smartphone, and upload their documents directly to you, so be able to get that text message. Okay, so we're talking about being able to interact with the mobile clients, so we have a mobile solution. That's what we're talking about, being able to interact with. So we have a mobile interview tool where taxpayers can go to the mobile site, take pictures of their documents, answer a few questions. You can create a QR code. You can interact with your clients mobily. Also, what else would our barista be doing, right? Is our barista going to get on the phone and call us? No, a barista's what, 18, 19 years old? No, what is she gonna do? She's gonna text message. She's gonna say, hey, Luis, what's going on with my taxes, all right? And what if you had a text messaging phone number or a text message number that interacted with all your clients? I'm sure we've got plenty of people on this webinar right now. I'm sure many of you have 200, 300, 400, maybe 1,500, 700 clients, right? I mean, imagine getting 700 people text messaging your phone. That'd be overwhelming, right? But having a business text number, right? A number that people can text that number, they can get information, but also too, what about a text number, a tool that where it sends automatic text messages out to your clients, to your customers, right? To your taxpayers' customers. So it's a real phone number. It's not a computer code. It's a personalized number, right? So it's not like a 443 number and then you know it's a fake, right? It'll provide, you can definitely have it set up for year round. So I use this product in my small tax business. I only got about 30 clients, friends and family. And one of the main things I use it to do is you'll see, if I did your taxes on February 15th, your birthday is November 19th. I want you to remember me. I want you to remember Anthony, Samson Tax, remember me, right? So I'm gonna have a text message automatically go out and tell you happy birthday on your birthday, automatically set up. I don't have to do anything. Once I set it up, that's it. Every year, just keep rolling forward. What about clients where you did their taxes last year and you want them to come back again this year? Hey, welcome, happy new year. Tax time is again. Here, click this link and you can set up your appointment to come to a tax office and get your taxes done. Or how about this? Click this link and send me your, how about this? Click this link and you can send me your mobile interview, right? So you can send out the text message for your mobile site through utilizing TextElite, right? You're using that tool to send out those text messages to your clients. That's definitely something that you want to use in this. So this is also going to help you. So I kind of lost my track of my slide here. Let me come back to that for just 1 second there. All right, perfect. Whoops, keeps coming back to that one. All right, no problem. So you can definitely use this to be able to send out those messages out to your clients. It's conversational. Clients can text message you. And one of the things I encourage you to do, think about this. If you got an admin person at your office, you can have your admin person kind of, you know, how you have man the phones. If somebody calls, hey, well, thank you for calling Samson Tax. How could I help you? Well, who's going to answer the text messages that come in, right? Because think about it. Let's go back to our barista. Our barista's 19 years old. You're doing her taxes. She's working at Starbucks. But maybe 3, 4 years from now, our barista gets promoted and she's making 50,000. Then she has a family. Maybe her husband has a business. So our barista can grow to become a big client for you, right? So this is something that you may want to consider. Hey, if I can get them in and I can start servicing them right, and they can get that kind of service they need, having these text messages go out, having a text message goes out that the return has been accepted or their refund is ready. So let me kind of show you for a second here. Let's come back over to TaxWise. I'm gonna pull back up TaxWise up on the screen. So it's our mobile site. And if I can't find my site, I'm just gonna type it in. It's gonna pull back up my TaxWise because I got it open somewhere on one of these pages. And we're back at TaxWise, all right? So inside Tax, I'm gonna go back to our tax return that we had open. And on our return that we have open, we have an opportunity. So let's go back to Tony's return. And on Tony's return, you'll see our opportunity over here for us to actually text message the client directly from the software. So I can click over here, text message. When I click over text message, let's say one of my preparers is preparing the return. Maybe somebody submitted their interview and they're preparing the return and we say, hey, I've got a question about something. Did you get child tax? Did you get an advance on your child tax credit in 2021? So we just sent them a text message asking. We don't have to get on the phone. We don't have to call that, right? So this can be someone else from your tax office, right? It's doing this, right? So they're gonna get that message and they're gonna say, yes, I did. Yes, I did. So a text message comes back. So this is real-time communication with that client. So you're gonna get that text message saying, yes, I did. They can see that, okay? Please get me your 64. Please send me your 6419 form or letter or log into the IRS site. So this is the type of information, this type of way that you can communicate with your clients, okay? Now, this is just that one-way communication. If I click over here on TextElite, you'll see that text messaging conversation that can take place directly with the client. So you can have those group text messages that are going out, those kind of blast text messages that are going out. You can definitely do that. And this is exactly what the TextElite platform works. You and your tax office, you'll get a mobile app, and that mobile app is what you'll use to be able to connect with the clients and you can see things that are happening. Same thing on the computer, on the web browser, you'll see that from the actual mobile app. So TextLint, wonderful tool to use in your tax office. I use it. It has definitely allowed me to do more business, because when I send out those Happy Mother's Day texts, Happy Father's Day texts, it has allowed me to get more business. I actually had to turn my TextLint off because I was getting too much business. Definitely did. All right. Now, last but not least, before we kind of hand it over to Luis is going to talk to you about some bank products here. Reliable online tax research. This is what I wanted to think about. The word tax research used to be, where we talk about when people are, the tax attorneys and things of that nature doing all this big research, represent people in cases. But 2021, you've got to be on top of it, because you'll be in the middle of tax season and tax law will change, right? So we have a tool that we sell, a product we sell. It's called CCH Answer Connect. And Answer Connect is going to allow you to connect with what's changing in the world of taxation. Now, you'll see right over here that anything that's changed in the world of taxation, how about that Build Back Better Act, right? Congress, the House of Representatives sign off on it, but the Senate has to approve it. If the Senate approves of it and the president signs it, guess what's going to happen? A lot of things are going to change, right? State and local tax deductions, things of that nature. So we break down the entire Build Back Better Act over here in layman's terms, in English. It's not a 3,000 page bill, right? This is a 7-page PDF. We break it down by business and individual, and you'll see the things that they Build Back Better Act wants to do. They want to increase the child tax credit to continue to keep going forward. They want to make it go forward for 2022. There's so much that they want to do in this act. It's not final yet, but you can be on top of what's changing in that. Now, how many of you, by show of hands, use Google to do tax research? And I say this, if you've been on any of my webinars, I say this, you are licensed tax professionals. You're licensed tax professionals, right? So, when somebody comes to you, they view you as a tax expert. If you're using Google to do tax research, does that make you stand out like a tax professional? No, that just says you know how to use Google. But when you have a subscription that you're paying for and there's no advertisements, and if someone has a question about child tax credit, or someone has a question about something, you can come in here and type it. There's no advertisements. This is not coming from someone's opinion, somebody that's living in their basement just shooting out opinions and blogs all day long. This is authoritative information coming from a tax attorney that wrote this and explains the tax law in a good way that you could understand it, right? So as tax law is changing, you got so much changing in tax law, it's difficult to keep up. Some of you may buy those books, those tax shortcut books that you get at the beginning of the year. If you buy that tax shortcut book, if you bought it last year in January, by the time you got to March, that book was outdated with some things, right? So having a product like this, Answer Connect, you can access it from your smartphone, from your laptop, your tablet. This is going to help you search less and do more and not be reading people's opinions and things of that nature, right? So Luis, definitely, if you could take it away, Luis, and talk about the refund transfer products that work with the virtual tax office powered by TaxWise, please, Luis, if you could go ahead and take it away on that one.
That's right. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate all the information that you have shared. And if you can go on to the next slide, I'll just review, of course, some of the benefits of offering refund transfers, or commonly known as bank products. Now, the main benefit, of course, is the fact that you can deduct your tax preparation fees from your customer's tax refund. That means if their tax refund is going to be, let's say, $3,000, that tax refund amount will go to the bank partner that you choose, either TPG, EPS, Republic Bank, or Refund Advantage. And from there they'll disperse your tax preparation fees to your account, the remainder of the refund to the taxpayer's bank account or check if you choose to print it in the office, and then any associated fees will go to where they need to go. So it's really an easy fee collection tool that a lot of tax professionals use today, just to avoid having to deal with all the accounts, receivables, administrative tasks, and all of that. Now, when you choose to work with a refund transfer, you have 3 options. You can, of course, send the remainder of the tax refund to the taxpayer directly to their bank account via a direct deposit. So that's very similar to what you would set up with the IRS directly. But let's say the taxpayer does not want to receive a check mailed to their home address. With a refund transfer, you have the ability to now, as a tax professional, print that check in your office. So instead of maybe sending the check to a PO box directly from the IRS, or maybe they don't have an address, they're in transition, they're moving around, they want to pick up the check in your office. You now have the ability to print that check for them, and they just come back to you to pick up the refund check. And then of course, if they don't have a direct deposit account, or they don't prefer to do the check either, you have the ability to offer a prepaid debit card where that refund amount can be deposited into, and then again they pick up the prepaid card from your office, and they can now use it to access the funds from their tax refund. So it's really a convenience factor for both the tax preparer, because it's easy to collect fees, but also for the taxpayer, because they have now different options for receiving that tax refund. Now, tax professionals can increase their revenue per client through rebates that they receive from the banks per bank product or refund transfer that they process. And they vary, of course, from TPG to EPS, Republic Bank, or Refund Advantage. So you want to connect with those banks and make sure that you understand what those rebates are. But overall, you have the ability to, of course, reduce your office costs in many ways. But the primary, reasons why we say that is because, again, those administrative accounts receivable tasks of taking checks to the bank, depositing cash, all of that time that you spend doing all of that, it can be taken away by simply deducting your tax preparation fees from your refund. Think about all the credit card processing, that time that you spend typing in the credit card or just swiping it or whatever, all of that takes. You can take all that away, because now you could be getting paid from the taxpayer's refund through a refund transfer. And then last and definitely not least, so dealing with those decline payments, that is also time consuming, and you spend a lot of time having to call the customer back because their credit card was declined, or maybe the check didn't cash. With the refund transfer, if there is a tax refund and the customer elects to receive the refund from the refund transfer, then of course, all of that will be taken care of by the bank, because the bank is going to take your tax preparation fees from the refund. So reducing your operating costs and your overall office costs will really play a big deal. And even beyond that, some of the bank partners that you see here, they offer free marketing assistance, and in some cases free marketing materials. That's posters, table tents, etc. So make sure that you inquire about that. Now, the main thing to remember here is, of course, the benefits are plenty, but you don't have to pay, and that is, your customer does not have to pay anything unless they actually choose to use a product. So from a tax preparer perspective, all you have to do is to enroll with a bank product partner. It doesn't cost anything to enroll. It doesn't cost anything for that to be sitting there. It only costs a fee to the taxpayer that comes out of the tax refund when they elect to use the refund transfer, and that is when they elect to pay for your tax preparation fees out of their tax refund. So, and that's what we say, it is a pay-per-use register, even if you're not sure that it's that you're going to use it. And Anthony, I'll bring you back here to the conversation. I know that in the past you had not used those refund transfers for your taxpayer clients, but understanding the fact that you can enroll for free. If you don't use it, doesn't matter. But if you use it for just a few customers, it could mean a big deal, especially for those customers that you've had trouble with in the past when collecting payment. You say, okay, well, no, Anthony, for you, I'm going to deduct your tax preparation fees out of the refund because I want to ensure that I get paid.
Yeah, that actually happened to me. I did somebody's return and didn't get paid for it this past tax season. So I'm definitely signed up. I went to our site and did the online sign up. So yeah, absolutely. Want to make sure that we do that. But now let's kind of put this together, Luis. A couple things want to put this together, because I know we showed a lot in this segment here. We're getting ready to wrap up the presentation. So what we covered here is the complete virtual tax office by Wolters Kluwer, powered by TaxWise Online. So TaxWise Online is it's enabling you to use this virtual tax office. So the mobile site for the taxpayer, your customer is going to go to that mobile site, take pictures of their documents, enter in their information, and they're going to send that to you. You are going to prepare that return on TaxWise Online based off the documents they provide to you. Those documents they submitted, those documents are going to be in the online vault. That's a document storage solution, right? We're going to set where those documents are going to reside at. Once you finish preparing that return, you're going to send that electronic signature, that e-sign return to the taxpayer. They're going to sign that. Now, if you're providing more services to your client, you need additional space, things of that nature, we have a client portal that you can use for your clients. And also, too, if you're offering bank products, refund transfers, you got those refund transfers that you can definitely use in your tax office. All right. So now, do you have to go ahead and do you have to start this whole entire process right now? No, you can do what's called a partial implementation. So let's say first, okay, how do I get started? So the way you'll get started is a partial implementation is where you'll start using TaxWise Online for your tax preparation business. You've got an online document storage. And then you also got ESignature. Now, one thing I noticed in the chat is there's someone in the chat that's actually using some other Wolters Kluwer products. Some people may say, hey, you know what? For some returns, I may want to use TaxWise for some returns, and some of the bigger returns, I may want to use some of the other Wolters Kluwer products. So we're seeing some people that are using both of our TaxWise product for their virtual tax office, especially, and then they're also using another product for some other returns that have some other items in it. So definitely you can do a partial implementation if that's your situation, or regardless, whatever situation is, having TaxWise online document storage and ESignature. But if you say, you know what, I really want to get out of having TaxWise installed on my computer. I want to hire somebody that's kind of remote. That's I've got somebody that can work and do returns for me. I work out of my home, or I'm going to hire somebody. You can do a full implementation, have TaxWise online document storage, ESignature. You can use the client portal, to be storing a lot of those client records at year-over-year retention, and then you also have the TaxWise Mobile that you're using. Because think about it, that younger generation is not just that barista that's 18; it's also that engineer that's 32, right? It's those individuals, that younger generation that does everything on their phone. Their phone goes with them wherever they go, right? 32, 35, 40, right? Making it easy and providing a good customer experience. That's what clients are looking for. They're looking for a good experience. So using TaxWise Mobile, and then automated business texting, right? Having those text messages go out to customers automatically. Your return was accepted. Your happy birthday, things of that nature. It just helps with retention, client retention. That's been a challenge for many tax offices over the years, using those, having retention. So automated business texting tools are a great tool for you to utilize for that. So you got your partial implementation or your full implementation that you may want to put in your tax office. Now, I want to ask everyone a quick question before we wrap up. If you like to follow up about TaxWise Online and the virtual tax office, you've got a couple options over here, a little polling question. If you'd like to speak to a solutions consultant, if you want to send an email, if you want to send you an email about some more information, if you've already renewed your current tax software, that's okay. Or maybe you want to actually add TaxWise Online to your current tax office. You say, hey, you know what? I'm using one of our Wolters Kluwer products, but I also want to add TaxWise Online and kind of streamline some of the things and have this virtual tax office in my practice. Or maybe you're already using TaxWise Online or you're using TaxWise Desktop, and you're interested about going to online. Definitely you've got a couple options. So definitely make a choice over there in those options. Definitely want to see what you select those options, and then we'll wrap up. It looks like we got some people that definitely want to be contacted. I see that, and we'll have solution consultants contact you this week just so you can get some pricing, get that information. What's today? Today is Thursday, December 9th. We'll definitely have a quick follow-up so you can at least get the information. The main thing is get an understanding of what's going on in it. No pressure. You don't have to make the switch, but we just want you to get an understanding. Okay, if I implement a virtual tax office, this is what it takes. This is what it costs. I can use the mobile site to get more clients, to grow my tax office. Maybe I want to get some more clients in different states. So if you'd like for a solution consultant to reach out to you about our mobile site and get that in your office, absolutely go ahead and do that. If you've already renewed your software, but you still want to think about adding TaxWise Online as a virtual tax office, you definitely can have someone reach out to you and send you an email about that information, all right?
And Anthony, as we said at the beginning of the presentation, it's always a win-win situation when you speak to a solutions consultant. You either find that there is a solution out there that will better fit your business needs, or after having the consultation, getting into the solution, accessing the free trial, you may realize that, okay, well, maybe I am in the right place, and that's okay as well. But you want to make sure that you take a look at everything that's out there, because your business, essentially depends on it. The solution that we use to run our business will essentially make or break a tax season, and we're anticipating a very busy tax season next year.
Absolutely, we definitely are, and I'm seeing so far about 50% of people have voted. Go ahead and put an answer in there. About 50% of people have voted. Absolutely, it's worth it. This is the time of the year, right before we get started. Do I have everything I need to offer a good experience to my clients? Do I have everything I need to offer a good experience to my employees, to my team members, those that are gonna be working for me, right? Do I have all the right tools? So it's always good to get to know what is out there. At least get an understanding and know what we have out there, know what it costs. Like Louis said, hey, get a trial, a free trial. Free is free, right? So definitely, absolutely. So thanks, Luis. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here on this presentation. It's been a pleasure. And folks, we if you got any questions, let's kind of take a couple of questions. We got a few moments. We can take a couple of questions. I see Luis has been answering some things in the chat box. So let's take a look at some of those questions that we've got. I'm going to pop out the Q&A section.
Yeah, and I have one, Anthony, that I left here open for you to answer live for everybody. And that is, how do I know if I'm ready for the cloud-based solution? I've been using TaxWise Desktop in this particular case for many years, and I've heard a lot about online. How do I know I'm ready?
Great question. The way how you know you're ready is if you want to look back at your past season and say and evaluate, be honest with yourself. How did that season go with COVID and everything? And also, way you want to know you're ready is, are you having to make a lot of phone calls to support? Are you having challenges with downloading states and updates? Did you accidentally prepare a tax return and it didn't have those latest updates, and then you had to call support and get the latest updates and redo that return? That's one of the ways you know you're ready, when you're having to call and support a lot. Now, Luis, I got a question for you. Someone's asking, when are you going to come back to Buena Park to the annual convention developer? That's the question
Yeah,
that they want.
I saw that comment. Hopefully next year. Hopefully next year will be a normal year, or the unpopular term, the new normal. And hopefully we'll be back to in-person events. Looking forward to seeing everybody live. But Anthony, I wanted to add one more thing as far as readiness for a virtual cloud-based solution. If you find that you feel like you're prisoner to your tax office, and that you have to drive back to the office just to look up a tax return or answer a question, or you have been spending a lot of time late at night in the office during tax season because you had to complete your tax returns because they were there. If you find yourself in that dilemma, you are ready for an online solution. We have a lot of TaxWise online people that they close up the tax preparation office at 10 p.m. During tax season, which is early for a lot of us. And they actually go home and wrap up some of the work at home. Whereas a desktop user, they have to stay in the office. After it's closed, you have a lot of business tasks that you have to complete. A lot of you actually review the tax return after you close the door, and then you e-file. All of that can take place now at home because it's a browser-based solution. After you have dinner with your family, you can just log on to your personal laptop and complete those tax returns. So if you find yourself that feeling like tax season takes over your life, I think that's where essentially considering a virtual tax office solution is a good move. So
wait, one other thing too, Luis, I want to address it. I want to add, that's a really good point, Luis. Also, if you find yourself spending time with backups, like sometimes I speak to some taxpayers and they're manually, they have an automated backup, and then they don't trust the automated backup, but they have an external driver they're backing things up at, they're backing things onto another computer. If you find that you're breaking your routine and you got things on your computer that you haven't backed up, if you find yourself doing that, you're a tax professional, not an IT professional, right? Information technology professional. You're a tax and accounting professional. If you find yourself doing your backups manually, or maybe your backup didn't work and you lost some data, definitely it's maybe time to move to a virtual solution, Luis. Sorry to cut you off there, Luis. Go right ahead.
No, valid points, and I always like when you provide those insights, because you are, as a practicing enrolled agent, you know exactly what some of the challenges are. I only hear about them. You can speak to those challenges from personal experience. So with that, Anthony, I think we're good to wrap it up for today. I think we've answered most of the questions in the Q&A, either here live or by answering via text. Thank you once again for another great presentation. We'll send everybody a link to watch the recording within 24 hours. And we wish everybody a great tax season. Evaluate your software technology, see what's out there. It's always a win-win situation. And again, if you find that you are using the right tools, then stay with them. But you want to, at the very least, you want to evaluate and see what's out. You want to test drive that car that you feel like you need. And then when you test drive it, you realize that, okay, well, maybe I do need that truck, but you want to at least take it for a test drive. So Anthony, once again, thank you so much for attending, and thank you everybody else for joining. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.